My husband and I adopted David about when he was 3, and he became our third child. We have 2 girls born to us who are much older than him. Lots of times professionals think that clinical placement is best for him, but David shines in community, and he's a beautiful artist, and he loves his town, and he chooses to be in the heart of it every day. David is nonverbal and has a global developmental delay, as well as autism. So those things really impact his communication, especially. So he gets big ideas, but can't express them. Even though he uses an iPad, it's very limiting for him. So, but he wants to be understood. So behaviors arise, and he has quite significant self-injury. So life always had to be sort of built around him. Supports had to be built in. So I heard about microboards many years ago before we adopted David, and I knew that that would be in his future. So he needed that group of people around him that's going to help with the custom fitting all the time. I think it's important to say that David's life was really quite isolated. So he didn't have a group of people around him. He didn't have that circle of friends that he grew up with. So he has his 2 sisters, his dad and I, and 3 former support workers and an aunt, and himself. He's a director on his own board. And so what I knew about microboards was it had to be people with personal knowledge and a relationship with the person you're building the microboard with. And so we knew that he needed that strength around him if we were ever challenged in any legal or medical decisions we were making. We could show an incorporated effort of supported decision making. In all this time that we're raising David, we never once had a family meeting about what happens after. And when we formed the microboard, or started talking about the microboard, we just saw our daughter's shoulders come down. And they had been having their own meetings about thinking that Terry and I, David's dad and I, were not thinking about the future. So they are elated to be close to his support without having to inherit the care and know all the, they just felt like they couldn't provide everything that his dad and I were providing. So they were happy to share that with a group of people. We very much went into the microboard being mom and dad. And David's 26, and he was an adult when we formed the microboard. And so we had to adjust our parenting, because now that you have the microboard, it's equal voices at the table. So having that realization in real time in a meeting it was humiliating for me and was embarrassing, and I felt like I was trying to control. And when I don't think my husband and I were really great big controllers, but when someone would suggest an idea, we would say, oh yeah, we tried that. Oh yeah, we tried that. What we weren't taking into consideration is, yes, our history with David is very important, but what we weren't saying, or what we weren't admitting when we said, yes, we tried that, is we weren't admitting David's growth and admitting I think even David's voice, right? I mean, it sounds really subtle, but control is, isn't it? So I think we're better at board meetings now. We are less mom and dad and more the team. And the reward for that way of thinking is then you really, as mom and dad, get to experience the support of the microboard, and you feel that group of people, and you watch your son shine. I mean, those are big rewards.